Hey everybody, it's Dan Harris, host of the FantasyPros Football Podcast. Thanks for checking out our video series. Today we're going to be talking about my top 10 waiver wire pickups for week 9 of the 2020 fantasy football season. All right, let's start at number 10 with San Francisco wide receiver KENDRICK BOURNE. BOURNE played 60 of 70 snaps on Sunday against the Seahawks, and he wound up with 8 catches on 10 targets for 81 yards. The thing is, Bourne's production was pretty easy to see coming. He saw 22 targets over the first 4 games of the season without Deebo Samuel, and with Samuel out on Sunday, you figured Bourne would again see action. Well, Samuel is going to be out again on Thursday against the Packers, and it sounds like George Kittle may be out too. Now, the Packers are solid against the pass, but the 49ers are going to need points, and they're going to need people to throw the ball to. It's not an enormous ceiling for Bourne, but he is a reliable wide receiver who you can throw out there in your lineup in week 9. Checking in at number 9 is Curtis Samuel. Samuel scored 2 touchdowns on Thursday night against Atlanta, and it's clear that Matt Rule is making an effort to get him more involved lately. Since week 2, Samuel has seen an average of 3 rushing attempts per game, and he's seen 16 targets over his last 3 games. Now, he's obviously third in the pecking order among wide receivers for Carolina, behind both Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. But his consistent work and Matt Rule's creativity makes him someone you can start more weeks than not. Next up on your waiver wire list is Wayne Gallman. Full disclosure, we have not yet seen Gallman play on Monday Night Football against the Bucs as we record this. But Devonta Freeman has already been ruled out, so Gallman should get the bulk of the work. It is a horrible matchup against Tampa Bay, and the matchups aren't that great going forward either. But what is the point of the Giants giving significant work to Freeman at this point? Add Gallman, hope that he finds his way into a weekly 15-touch role, and likely at least be a bye-week filler for you. That's far from exciting, but he's a running back who might get touches, so you add him. Checking in next is DJ Dallas. Dallas dominated the work for the Seahawks last night with both Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde out. It wasn't overly effective, just 18 carries for 41 yards with another 17 through the air. But he scored 2 touchdowns, and he obviously wound up with a big fantasy day. If we knew that Carson or Hyde would be out next week against Buffalo, Dallas would move to the top of the list. But Carson was a game-time decision on Sunday, and he looks determined to miss as little time as possible. Dallas is definitely an add, but he'll need some obstacles to fall out of the way to have significant value going forward. Next up is Packers wide receiver Allen Lazard. Lazard was back at practice this past week as he recovers from his core injury, though he didn't suit up on Sunday. Now, when healthy, he had established himself as a fairly reliable second receiver for Aaron Rodgers, so he is a desirable pickup. But 2 things push Lazard a bit further down the waiver wire rankings. The first is the possibility that the Packers are going to add a wide receiver by the trade deadline, which may have even happened by the time you're watching this. If it hasn't, bump Lazard up a few spots in your waiver priority. Second, it's unclear whether Lazard is going to be ready to go by this Thursday, when the Packers take on the 49ers. Again, if he is, bump him up a spot or 2 in your waiver priority. Now, if neither one of those things happens, you're likely looking at the 3rd wide receiver for a team who isn't playing this week. So for now, he remains a priority pickup, but not the priority pickup. Okay, number 5, let's talk about Marvin Jones. You knew a 2-touchdown game was coming for Jones at some point this season. That's just what he does. And with Kenny Golladay now nursing an injury, Jones becomes an intriguing waiver wire option. Now let's throw some cold water on the entire Marvin Jones situation. He had an opportunity early in the season without Golladay, and he flopped. And even on Sunday, he had 3 catches for 39 yards. So this is not a league-winning pickup. But against the Vikings and their depleted secondary, he is an option for week 9, which makes him someone to add off your waiver wire. Checking in next is Colts running back Jordan Wilkins. This was supposed to be Jonathan Taylor's coming out party. Instead, Wilkins not only far outproduced Taylor, but he outsnapped him too. Wilkins carried the ball 20 times for 89 yards with the score on Sunday, and he added a 24-yard reception. He played 39 snaps to Taylor's 26, and he was in the game when the Colts needed to salt it away. Now, the Colts are not going to hand the running back job fully over to Wilkins, and they play the Ravens this week anyway. But if Wilkins is again more effective than Taylor on Sunday, then you'd have to think he'll begin to get an even bigger piece of the running back pie. Even if you don't start Wilkins this week, he needs to be added in all formats. At number 3, it's Sterling Shepard. As with GALLMAN, we haven't seen Shepard play yet in Week 8, and he may not have a huge game against the Bucs on Monday Night Football. But Shepard should have been added last week, so he definitely needs to be added this week. Again, if you knew that one of your wide receivers would average 8 targets, 6 catches, and roughly 60 yards a game with the chance to score a touchdown, you'd consider that player about a wide receiver 3. And that's what Shepard has averaged over the last 2 seasons. I've said it before, I will say it again, boring is going to win championships this year. You don't need a home run on every swing. Take a single with an occasional double or a triple. And that is a healthy Sterling Shepard. At number 2 is the underappreciated Gus Edwards. So J.K. Dobbins is the clear winner from Sunday. He played roughly twice the snaps of Edwards, though the latter missed a bit of time with an injury. Still, Edwards carried the ball 16 times for 87 yards and found the end zone for the second consecutive game, and it was another tough matchup against the Steelers. Now it'll be another tough matchup against the Colts this week. But with Mark Ingram likely out and the Ravens' elite run offense humming, Edwards can certainly be started as a flex option in Week 9. Finally, let's talk about Eagles wide receiver Jalen Reagor. Reagor came back quicker than expected from his thumb injury and played well against the Cowboys. Now, he only had 3 catches for 16 yards, but he did score a touchdown and added a 2-point conversion. Even with a bye on tap in Week 9, Reagor is a priority add because he's nearly a guarantee to have every week value. Deshaun Jackson is out. We have no idea if we're going to see Alshon Jeffrey back on the field, and Reagor is an outstanding talent. The Eagles come out of the bye with games against the Giants, the Browns, and the Seahawks, 3 teams that they can pass against. With a set role, with elite skill, and with a team desperately in need of reliable pass catchers, add Reagor now. And that's going to do it for my top 10 waiver wire pickups for Week 9 of the 2020 fantasy football season. As always, thanks for checking out our video series, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel here at youtube.com/FantasyPros. While you're at it, give us a follow over on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at FantasyPros so you don't miss any of the great content that we're going to be producing all season long.